So here we are again on February 5th. And as I keep saying to everyone, the housing market is moving at a very high level. So they just came out, Houston Association of Realtors just came out with their Houston Housing Affordability Report. I'm looking at some notes over there. And let's kind of go through this really quickly so we can understand what's happening in Houston, what happened last year, what's going on, or what we can project for this year. So, according to the affordability report, Houston homeowners have become, or home ownership as a whole has become more attainable for many Houston area residents at the end of 2025. The mortgage rates and the ease in the home prices came down a little. According to the latest housing and rental affordability report from HAR's index, which that's a percentage that they create, indicates that 44% of households in the greater Houston area could afford a median priced home in the final quarter of 2025. Now, what does that mean? Well, first off, it's an improvement from the year before, which in the last quarter only 40% of the people, so it increased 4%. But some would say, is that a whole bunch of people? It kind of is, but let's look at it from a different perspective. The perspective I would tell you to look at is how does that impact you? Can you afford a median priced home in the Houston area? So when we think about the median priced home, the actual prices, that declined by 0.9% year over year to $337,200, while the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate came in at 6.23 or six and a quarter during the fourth quarter. The monthly mortgage payment, including principal, taxes, and insurance, was right at 2280, which is down from 2490 1 year earlier. So we got to keep in mind that we are saving money. The people are waiting for this big jump in interest rates, and that's just not going to happen. The years of 3% is gone. They're gone for at least a while. We're not going to see that for at least another quarter century, probably. So when you're looking at it from that perspective, you got to look at what can you afford right now and what makes sense. What incentives and things are out there? If you saw my last video, we talked about the leverage is really on the buyer side right now in regards to what you can negotiate. So when we talk about savings as a whole, let's go back here. To afford a median priced home that I just gave you, 337 in Houston, households needed to earn at least $91,200 annually, a 3.4% decrease from the same time last year. Affordability also improved across Texas statewide, and 43% of households could afford a median priced home, which is up 39% from 2024. But buyers needed a minimum annual income of $90,000 to purchase a $334,000 home. So when you look at that perspective, and that's total, that's your household. So that could be a husband, wife, that could be partners, that could be friends, that could be whoever's on the deal that lives in the property. That's the total home income. People ask a lot of times, what's the difference with the rental? Because rentals have been really high. And I'm going to tell you, they haven't moved a bunch. But here's what the report says it says 48% of Houston renters could afford the median lease price for a single family home in the fourth quarter of 2025. So that's up from 45%. Again, about a 3-4% increase from the prior year. The lease price for a single family home declined 2.4% to 2050, but that does not include the security deposit or cost of utilities, of course. That is just the rent. So when you start to look at the basic chart they have on here, and we're not going to pop that up here, but I want to reference it, you can look and see that the majority of homes that were rented, with the rental price, they stayed relatively flat. You did not move a lot in regards to coming down in rent. And I would challenge you and say, well, that makes me wonder, what is the real quality here? Do I want to rent a home for 2,200, or do I want to pay a mortgage and be an owner for 2,200? Because you can do both, either or. If I can afford to pay 2,240, 2,250, which was the median, I can definitely pay 2,300 for my own mortgage. And then when you combine that with some of the incentives, when you take advantage of some of the negotiation power, or even more importantly, when you look at some of the great deals that's going on in new home builds, you have an opportunity to not miss out. If you've ever thought about owning a home, this is your time to step into that and really look to see how it can work for you, because that's really all that matters, is how does the current market climate work for me that allows me to move forward in my journey. So hopefully this has given you some great insight on what's going on in Houston. As always, if you have any questions, reach out to me. You can always jump into the description. Matter of fact, let me know in the description, are you renting or are you buying? Do you own a home? Are you in the market to buy a home, or are you renting a home and you feel that rate is fair? Let us know down there, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But as always, my name is Walter Davis. I'm here to assist you and keep you up to date with what's going on in the Houston area. Look forward to talking to you next time. Bye bye now.